Welcome to the Vulnerable Room. Hey everybody, welcome on back to another episode of the Vulnerable Room podcast. This is part 3 of Heaux Tales, and I finally have Bri here and Munchie here. These are my friends, y'all. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. So we're going to get straight into it. So in this episode, we're exploring long-term relationships and why they sometimes don't progress to the next steps. So are you guys ready?
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, we're ready to speak our truth.
We've been talking about this for a long time, and we're finally here. So thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to be with me to talk.
Thank you.
So give me your name, introduce yourself, and one fun fact about yourself, and one word to describe your dating life right now.
Hi, everybody. Oh, gosh. I'm Munchie. Damn, one word I can describe dating. It's fun.
Oh, you having fun?
I'm having fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one word to describe yourself.
Energetic.
Yes, that you are. That's why I was like,
Very energetic.
I agree with that.
So I'm Bria. One fun fact about me is by profession, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I would use the word exploratory for my dating life right now. Would I have said that a few years ago? Maybe not. But right now, that's what I would use.
Okay, no problem. So are you ladies ready to be open, honest, transparent, vulnerable, to talk about, you being in a long-term relationship and why it didn't, progress to the next steps?
Yes.
So are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's cheers. Cheers to vulnerability.
Hey,
Clink, 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 clink. Okay, so this segment is called Pick Up Your Feelings. So why, Rhea, why did you utilize the word, what did you say?
Exploratory?
Yes, why did you use that word?
I would say right now, in the phase of life that I am in, I'm exploring the things that I want and don't want when it comes to dating.
Okay.
I can't say that I did that in my past, but after going through things that I have gone through, I'm a lot more sure of what I want and who I am. So that's why I would use the word exploratory, because I'm exploring the good, the bad, and if it don't work, it don't work. But yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Snap it up. Okay, Munchie, what about you?
The reason why I said fun is because when I go out on dates, I don't have any expectations at all. And when you go into something with expectations, you get disappointed a lot, especially in my experiences. So I'm like, I'm the go with the flow type of person. If it doesn't work out, like Bri said, it doesn't work out. On to the next.
Okay.
I really like that. Okay. Yeah. Teach me your ways, girl.
So for me, I know last time I utilized the word traumatizing, but now currently I feel like chill. It's one of those things, like, to piggyback off of what both of you said, I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting anything, just going with, taking it one day at a time. That's all I can do. All I can say is, I could set the precedent of how I want to be treated, but it's up to the person, of interest to either execute or you feel. So that's where I'm at, guys. I like this for us. I feel like it's very light.
I like the progression, though.
Yeah.
From watching that episode and then hearing what you're saying now.
Yeah.
You can see the growth.
Because it's like, it's so easy to set your expectations high subconsciously, right? You want to get married. You want a healthy relationship. You want to have kids. You want a family. We're at that age. So it's like when that person don't deliver,
It's disappointing.
it is very it's disheartening, it's disappointing, and I'm just tired of that cycle. So I'm just trying to go with like being chill and having like fun. Yeah.
And just to add this, I feel like a lot of times when you go into situations like having fun and not having expectations is when stuff happens.
Yeah. I can attest to that.
Yes.
All the time.
Okay.
Yep, that's how I got into my last relationship. I was not expecting anything. I was like, let me go out with this big-headed boy and see what... I was like, let me see where this is going to go.
Yeah.
And then, ended up in a relationship, and that's just what it was. So I definitely agree with you. Sometimes when you don't go looking for it, when you don't go searching for it, it finds you. So, okay, Bri. So, Munchie, how long were you with your partner? And why am I like, I'm sorry. How long were you and the person together for?
We were together for 5 years.
That's a long time.
5 years, yes.
Okay.
That's the longest relationship I've ever had. Before it was 4.5.
That's still a long time too.
I'm a long-term
girly.
Curly, yeah. So,
Okay.
it was 5 years. I really thought he was the one.
What about you, Bri?
I think 5 years too, 2017 to 2022. That's 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
And I also thought he was the one.
5 years?
Yeah.
Was it
2017, 2022. Yeah.
I thought it was like maybe 3 to 4.
No, girl.
That's when me and Bri clicked.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Well, for me, 2. That's it. That's all I got. Because baby, if it ain't like moving in a positive direction, we keep hitting the same roadblocks. Like, gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, it's either you fix it or you don't. But 5 years for
5
both of
years.
y'all, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I mean, I would say like 2017 was more of like getting to know each other, dating kind of thing, but officially making it official was 2018. But I include that process because
that is dating.
It goes it goes hand in
definitely.
hand. Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah,
Okay.
my prime years. Hold up.
So, Bri, why did you guys break up?
Girl. So to summarize, I would say I wasn't being treated with respect.
Okay.
I wasn't being valued. He was playing in my face, respectfully. And, cheating and emotionally, physically, whatever you want to call it, like just not being in tune with him and I's relationship. So ultimately that led to us breaking up.
A lot of outside distraction, basically. What about you, Munchie?
He actually dumped me. It's
like, it's funny now. It's funny. It's like women could laugh about stuff like this now.
When he's like, I was working a lot and I wasn't giving him the attention that he wanted.
Pardon?
And he was a person that worked a lot too.
Right. That's why I said pardon.
When I met him, right, I was at a point of my life where I changed careers and I was trying to figure out, what am I doing? I did music for almost 10 years. That life ended, so I was lost. So I depended on him for a lot of stuff, a lot of things. So when I started growing in my career, which is medical coding and auditing, he was supportive until I started finding love for it and I started growing. And now started getting more hours, less time being spent with him. And he works a lot too. And it was a lot of compromising on my side. So now
we always be the ones to compromise.
I always
hate it.
looked at him as a role model because he would be considered a high value man because he made 6 figures. So I was trying to make it to reach to his level. You understand what I'm saying? He really influenced me to be a better person in terms of career wise.
Okay.
So I'm improving in my career. It was like a whole 180 when it came to him. He became more controlling. He's like, you're not spending time with me. Like,
please.
Like having temper tantrums.
Like a baby.
Yeah, like a baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, I think that And it's funny you say this because that's how I started to feel once I started like doing everything that I said I wanted to
Right.
do.
To growing as an individual.
That's
like
when I
that.
started to feel the shift.
Yeah.
I started to get more of the cold shoulder. I started to feel like I can't pinpoint what the issue is here. But I noticed, like, for example, when I got the job at the same place we was working at, I don't want to say the name because I don't need no lawsuit, please. But so when I started working there, he was like, like the congratulations was mad dry. And that same day we got into it and he broke up with me.
Like, how you hate on your girl?
Yeah.
For leveling up in
Okay.
life.
The guys sometimes be your
weird.
biggest op, okay?
And this is the
Weird.
first time I've really understood, like, your person can be your worst enemy.
Yeah.
And they could be jealous of you.
And that's what happened.
And I did not like that. Like, I felt like you should be happy for me.
Nope.
Like, you should be happy that everything that I said I wanted to do in that short span of time, I'm accomplishing it. So, yeah, that day I will never forget. I thought like, oh my gosh, I finally got a better job, better benefits, better pay.
Wow.
And you break up with me the same day. So that's how I'm going to remember me getting hired. You know what I mean? So,
Stealing
Yeah,
your
that's
thunder.
weird.
yep,
Stole
stealing my
your
joy.
thunder.
Yep, I was
That's such
crying.
weird behavior. Like,
It is.
what's that
It
about?
is.
They have a funny way of like showing jealousy. And sometimes it comes across that way. Sometimes I feel like, but
Yeah.
but that's crazy. Like, but I'm happy. You were strong enough to keep pushing forward towards your goals.
Let me tell you, I thought I would have never gotten out of that rut, boy, because I loved him. I was like, damn.
At
5
older you.
years, yeah.
It felt like you stabbed me in my heart.
Yes. I know the feeling.
And then the cheating, like
Yeah.
that's like the ultimate betrayal. Like I'm here in this relationship, like 10 toes down, and you got 5 toes here,
Yeah.
and the other 5 like outside in these
Outside, yeah.
streets. Like
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah. And the thing about it too is like I had people reaching out to me like on Instagram, fake pages, saying things about him, and he will always deny it. So even to this day, he's never admitted to sexually cheating on me. He's admitted to like entertaining another woman, like phone conversations, texting. So like, but never admitted to the sexual part of it, and I don't believe him.
This is just pathetic.
But it was just too much, like it was
Yeah.
becoming too much, and it was a lot of things going on in the relationship over the years. But I told myself like if one more thing happened, I was done. And then somebody reached out to me on Instagram, and that was it.
To have somebody like reach out to you and try to tell you about your relationship that you're in, you possibly sleep next to this person at
Yeah.
night. It's
a betrayal that I've never felt that before from anybody else. And this was like, I want to say this is the most serious and the longest relationship I have ever been in. So I never had any other experiences. But when you really love somebody, like, kind of unconditionally in a sense, like, and somebody betrays you like that, like it really hurts.
It hurts.
Like the pain that I felt, like through that whole experience, like I wouldn't wish it on a worst enemy. Because, when you love somebody and you doing for them and you being true, you like, I wasn't entertaining nobody else. Like, I was staying true to that situation and to him. But yeah,
that'd be it. Because
Yeah.
if the roles were reversed,
he can't take it.
they're not as forgiving as we are. So
No.
Yeah.
but we're gonna get
That's
into
why
that.
it's good to just stay true to who you are.
Exactly.
And just move on.
And set your boundaries and
Yes,
stick
that's
to
right,
it.
Right.
Yeah. So did you guys ignore any red flags?
Yes. Come on. From the beginning.
Okay, let's get into it.
I want to say like almost like immediately with us starting to date and talk, there was like red flags. We worked together, but then it was also that weird spot where it's like we didn't make it official yet, so he may have been talking to other people at our workplace. We worked together, and that was another thing. I was like, I never wanted to date anybody I work with because it could be very awkward
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out. And then I was in a a leadership role, and I wasn't his direct supervisor, but it could just be tricky, and I don't want people in my business. So that was one thing. And then there was like talk around the office, and it was getting sticky with that. There was a situation where Shy, our best friend, saw him at a restaurant with another woman early on in our relationship. And
child,
that right there was when I should have said, that's it.
Like, it's clipped. Yeah.
But he had a whole story about that and admitted to like not telling me because he knew I wouldn't like it. So if you knew that I wouldn't like it or I wouldn't be okay with it, why would you do it? Make it make sense.
No respect.
But then he called the girl on the phone. The girl denied it and said,
of course,
said they was just out, as friends. Bullshit. But yeah, that was like, that's 2 red flags right there in the beginning. And then things happened, throughout the relationship as well. But me kind of just being naive, being not knowing my self-worth and not understanding like
that's the one. Yeah,
it's okay if it don't work. Like let that situation go. You deserve better. Trying to make it work. Stayed and thought that maybe things would change. So yeah, definitely red flags throughout the whole relationship.
I appreciate your transparency because that's a lot.
Yeah,
There's
more stuff I didn't mention, but I think that's enough to like paint a picture, right? Like, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
What about you, Munchie?
Back then when there were many red flags, but the main red flags were, I guess, in the mental space. I was in a terrible mental space back then. And I didn't like him at first. My spirit didn't take him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Did not take him at first. And I turned him down. But we remained friends. And that intuition never...
Steered you wrong, yeah.
And I ignored it. And we remained friends. And he did all the love bombing, which is telling me what I want to hear, giving me gifts, taking me everywhere where what I like to do. At the beginning, everything was fine. I was like, ooh, look at my Prince Charming coming my way. You know what I mean? Like, and I was explaining to him that loss of career. I'm not ready to jump into anything because I'm just trying to process. But nope, he didn't take no for an answer. Within 3 months, I met his parents. It was a lot of I was being forced into situations that I didn't want to be in. And the fact that I didn't listen to me, I focused on how he felt instead of focusing on how I felt.
We always do that. Always.
So I just was like, you know what, let me just wing it. Instead of expressing to him, no.
Yeah.
This is not where I'm right now. I sacrificed doing that. And then it was a lot of insecurities. It was a lot of control, telling me how to dress.
Hey.
I changed how I dressed.
Yeah, that's scary.
I stopped going to, let me tell you, I'm a carnival baby. I haven't gone to carnival for 5 years.
Crazy.
He did not accept it. He's like, he doesn't want his women wearing costumes.
And this is your culture.
And this is my culture.
Like,
the way he spoke down on my culture, I just decided, you know what, he doesn't like it. Let me just put that part of me to the side to make him happy. And everything that I did, if I felt like it was a checklist. When I meet that checklist, something else came up that he wanted that I needed to fix about myself. And then I peeped. I was like, wait, hold on. This is not healthy.
Yeah.
I'm sacrificing everything for this man, and this man is not sacrificing nothing.
Yep.
It be like that. But you don't see it that way because we're thinking with our heart
it's
and
love.
our feelings. Yeah.
And that's because we don't know, or sometimes we ignore the red flags
Right.
a lot, but sometimes in the moment, we're not self-aware.
Right.
So we don't know. And it's not until you start doing that self-reflection and putting yourself first and you start realizing like, wait, no,
And he,
this is not okay.
Yeah. When was the next red flag was when he started, he never really had good friends in his corner. But me, my friends don't play about me.
Okay.
And he didn't like that. He was trying to isolate me. I have supportive parents. He doesn't. He's not close to his parents. Like the way he would say certain comments about my parents. I wish I had that. It was a lot. And then when I think back, I was like, this man was really jealous. He didn't like Darnique, telling me how this and that
Hi,
about
sir.
Darnique.
We're still friends.
I was like,
Yeah, that's
and he just
crazy.
didn't like my friends. He's like, they're a bad influence. I'm like, but who's here now? It's 2024.
Okay.
Exactly.
Who's here?
Hi, me. Hello.
Yep.
How you doing?
The friend's
Okay.
still there, so that says a
So,
lot.
yeah.
That's like, imagine how if you would have gotten married, that would have been like another level of control. Because some people do say that it gets worse when you get married. So this is just y'all in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. There's no ring involved. So just imagine, like, he's trying to change you, like strip those things away that makes
Everything.
munchie. Like,
To
That's
appease
crazy.
Yeah.
his feelings and his liking.
Yeah, and it's like he never acknowledged my feelings. If I came up with an idea, he'd be like, that's stupid.
Ooh.
But when he come up with an idea, I was like, go, babe, go for it. I'll support you. With him,
You know that's
No
like
support.
verbal mental abuse.
abuse, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Like when they start with the controlling, saying
Manipulative,
things to put you
gaslighting.
down, gaslighting. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't realize it.
Yeah, you don't
yeah.
while you in it. Yep. But that's abuse.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on the fact that, like, before, when you guys got together, like,
I knew.
you're Caribbean. That
Yep.
you hear it when you talk.
Yep.
So for him to say you can't go to Carnival instead of saying, you know what, babe, I'm not too comfortable with it, but at the same time, like, when you go out there, just remember, like, you're in a
Yeah.
relationship, like, respect me as if I'm there. That's different.
Yeah.
He didn't even try to even
Want to learn it. I was
Yes,
just about
or
to say.
learn,
Yeah.
yes.
Nope.
How about let me join you? Let me see
No.
what it's about
Nope.
before I judge.
Yeah, it's just one of the, I'm
He
getting
had a lot of
goosebumps.
negative things to say.
Because it's like you're stripping away a person's identity.
Yeah.
Just to make yourself feel.
Yep. Make
Yeah.
he wants to
Macho.
make
Yeah.
you so small.
I was so
So he could
miserable.
feel so big
Yes.
and so large
I don't
because
like
he
that.
really didn't feel he wasn't
That's
comfortable in his own
exactly
skin.
what it is.
I don't like
That's
that.
exactly what it is.
I'm happy both of you like are not in that situation anymore. And you guys can talk about it from a
Yeah.
place of healing.
Yes.
Because just imagine just looking back on that when you was going through that. You just sitting there wondering what am I
yeah.
doing wrong? And we're always so quick to
Yeah.
blame ourselves.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
For me, it was one of those things where and I was just telling Bri earlier about this. The red flag for me, I started seeing him, I went through that phone. I know they say don't go through a man's phone, but this is where I learned my lesson. So I went through the phone because I felt like this is too good to be true. The love bombing, you asking me to be your girlfriend on date 3, something ain't right. Okay? Okay? So I went through the phone one time, we was hanging out, and I saw that he was DMing a lot of girls. But here's the gag. The girls did not look like me. They weren't black. They weren't chocolate. They were Hispanic. So I'm like, that's strike 1. Strike 2 was you look mad thirsty because they're not even answering you back. So now you look dumb.
But why are you doing that if you in a relationship though?
Exactly.
Like, ew.
You asked me to be your girlfriend. I told you no the first time. Then I finally give you a chance. And this is what you're doing? Now, if I was to sit here and answer my DMs and not showing respect
You wrong.
that I'm in a relationship,
He'll be crying.
Right. Like,
I'll be pinned to that to that cross. Everything would be like, oh, woe is me. You know how they like to drag it. But yeah, that was one of the red flags for me.
Yeah.
And also when he would get upset, it would be, the smallest thing made into something so big. And he would go, like I said before, he would go days without speaking to me. But I didn't take that as a red flag. I just took it as okay, we just hit a minor bump. We could talk it out. Things will get better.
that's a sign.
Because communication, though,
That's a
right?
sign of manipulation because
Yes.
my
Not
guy used
talking.
to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But my thing is too, communication is a big part and making relationships work.
Work, you're right.
So if you're using that tool like to not communicate with me, like where's the like how is this gonna work? How it's not gonna be effective,
No.
and it is a sign of manipulation because it makes you feel some type of way, like you sitting at your phone looking like he didn't text me today. Like should I
I'm
reach
crying
out?
my
Or
eyes
you know what I'm
out.
saying?
Yeah, I can't
Let me tell
eat.
you.
I can't sleep. Like I'm one of those emotional people. When something is wrong, like I feel like my equilibrium is off. And I don't want to do nothing. Like I just want to stay in bed. Like I'm just like blah. Don't really want to talk to nobody because I don't want to project that energy off. Like, it's real out here. It's very real.
That's
but
tough.
shout out to growth.
Yes.
We're not in those places anymore.
Thank God.
2 snaps
Thank
to the
God for
circle.
growth. Oh my
Period.
God.
So this segment is called "Hurt Me So Good." This is one of my favorite songs on Jasmine
That's such a nice song.
Sullivan's
Oh, man.
Heaux Tales. Because when I first heard that song, I was like, child.
Come through, Jasmine. Come through. Come through.
So were there moments in the relationship where you realized it was coming to an end and you can sense it wasn't going to last?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the last year of the relationship with me and my ex, we moved in together. And once we moved in together, I thought it was gonna be like, the happiest moment, the happiest times, like just on this high, and it was not that. We were fighting and arguing a lot. And you learn a lot about somebody when you live with them.
They do say that. Yeah.
And it just wasn't like a happy environment sometimes. Like we had our good moments, don't get me wrong, but when the bad is starting to outweigh the good, like when you like dreading wanting to go home, or like you just like you fighting, you're not speaking, and and then he would do this thing where he would come home, like he'll go out. He was a very social person, so he always would go out. I'm more of a homebody, so he would go out and like come home 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I told him that I didn't like that. Like I feel like that's not respectful to our household that we're building together. And you have somebody. Why are you coming home at that time in the morning? Like that is unacceptable.
It's given like creep hours, like you creep in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing at that time in the morning? Like, and you hanging out with your friends, and they think, so stuff like that. So a lot of that was happening, and I just wasn't happy. Like that I want to say that last year, like when we moved in together, but then like the last 3 months of the relationship, especially, I wasn't happy. I remember it was New Year's, and we had made plans to spend New Year's together. And he left out of the house to go to his parents' house. He said to get some soup. You know what kind of soup they serve on the 1st of January, so I'm not gonna have to say nothing else. So he said he's gonna go get some soup and he was gonna be back. This man did not come back. New Year's hit, and I'm in the house by myself,
counting down by yourself.
And when I tell you,
at
that moment, I felt so low, and I was crying. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell none of my friends,
sorry,
because
sis.
I feel like I'm a person of like, I don't want to share things if I'm not ready, if I'm not sure if I want to leave the person,
fair.
because I know my friends, they love me, they got my back, and if I tell them stuff, they gonna be about it. So I'm like, when I'm ready to make a move, or when I know what I'm gonna do, then I'll share. So I wasn't ready to share. So I was literally in the house crying, and I was just like, God, why?
Going into the new year,
yeah. And I should have known, like right there, like going into the new year like that. That wasn't it. So and that was in January. When I tell you, I was just crying and crying, like, because I knew emotionally I was checked out and checking out.
We tried to refrain from getting there. We be warning them. And then when we get there, it's like, now you want to listen when I had it up to here. And I can't bear anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
It's sad. Like, and that was the moment where I was like, that. I feel like that was more than enough for me to be like, I'm out. But, we lived together, and, the embarrassment of like breaking up, and you just moved in with the person, all the things that you really shouldn't be worried about, because you got to put yourself first. But I told myself after that, I was like, if one more thing happens, I'm out. And then in March 2022 is when the person reached out to me via DM on Instagram saying a whole bunch of things. Crazy. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. So yes,
I'm getting like chills.
To answer that question, I knew I knew. I tried though. I really, really tried
I know
to
you
make that
did.
work because I really loved him. Like,
I'm sorry you went through that,
Yeah.
and you still showed up for my birthday too.
I did.
I
I
love
showed up.
you.
We went to NOLA, one of the best. Well, we had a time, but I was just like, we'll probably get to that later. But I was in such a dark space, but I still try to show up as best as I could.
Yeah.
I still feel like I failed in some areas, like because that healing space where you just need to like take a minute to yourself. But I still try to my best to show up, and because you need that too. Like you don't want to like I have a moment where I be in the house crying and soaking, but then I'm
You
like
could be
no,
on
like,
Bourbon Street getting drunk.
yeah, I was like, let me go on this trip. Let me go to NOLA and get drunk with my girls, and that's exactly what I did. So yeah, I did still show up for my girl, but it was such a low place, and like when I thinking about it and talking about it, I'm glad that I can talk about it now without the emotions, because there was a point in time where I could not talk about it without crying. Because it was a low place.
I didn't know you was going through that during like New Year's. Like that's like a whirlwind of emotions. Because like you said, you guys planned something, and at that moment too, it's just like you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. You wasn't being a man of your word in that moment.
And then it started to kind of feel like now you really just like it was a little messy. It was like you really. Like, you don't want to be in this relationship neither. Like, I feel like you was kind of purposely doing things to, like, get under my skin. Because it's like, you think I won't leave you? Like, because clearly, I guess he felt like, and that was one of the things that, that was one of the things that he told me after we broke up. He was like, I never thought that we would break up. I never thought. And I'm like, are you dumb? Like, you think I'm not going to get fed up and tired? Like, so I feel like now, at that point, it was starting to get a little sloppy with the things that he was doing. It's like, you really think I'm not, like, I won't leave you.
You know what it is? Because it's one of those things where you always hear, like, when you allow it the first time, they're going to keep doing it.
You got to nip
so
it
you
in
take
the
an
bud.
inch, they're going to take a mile. They're going to take a yard.
You have to nip it in the
Yards.
bud real quick.
And that's the thing. I didn't over the 5 years of dating and being in a relationship. So, of course, like, and then why... we living together at this point, so he probably like, yeah, like, whatever.
Like, she ain't going
nowhere. We'll get over it. And it's like, how many times you want to argue? How many times you want to be in a house being miserable, not talking? Because every other day, every other week, we was fighting about something because he was just doing dumb shit. And I was just like, come on. Like, it was so draining. It was so draining. But yes, to answer your question, I definitely felt and knew that the relationship was coming to an end. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it was 1.5 years before it ended that I knew. I started drifting away from the relationship. Started working more hours. Actually, when I started seeing signs was when I first moved into my first apartment. He would make certain remarks like, "Oh, so what he said? So you think you Miss Big Girl now?" Like, certain things he would say. You're not gonna have time for me anymore. And every time he comes into the apartment, he would make sarcastic remarks, and I was like side eyeing him, like, okay, but he was saying jokingly.
You guys were living together?
No.
Oh, okay.
He asked me to live with him, and I think he was in his bag, his feelings, because I was like, no, you got to put a ring on it. No.
Per.
Yeah, he asked me to move in with him during COVID, and he wanted me to give away my dog. Moet.
You know you don't. We know you don't play about that doggy.
We're not doing that.
No,
we don't play about the dog.
Fur moms over here. We don't play.
Yeah, you don't play about the dog. We not.
No.
So it's, again, stripping you away from something you love.
Right.
Trying to make you like this.
Yup.
This little. Like, come on.
And after that, I said that year when I got my apartment, I want to be closer to God. Started reading my Bible on a daily basis. That's when I got more opportunities in terms of my career, started working more hours. And at the end of 2022, I'm working more hours and you're accusing me of cheating. My mom always says, when a man accuses you of cheating and you're not doing anything, what he's
projection.
He's projecting because he's doing it. And because my mind already was like, I already mentally checked out. I was so into my job. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So for 2023, let me tell you, sometimes you got to be careful what you ask God, especially when you pray to God. I told him for 2023, please get rid of the people that's not for me.
Child.
When I said that prayer, all hell break loose between us. I started seeing a side of him. He started to get really nasty with me. Very mean. Very mean.
That's crazy. When you
And
like
I just
start
started
seeing
to
that,
feel ugly about myself. Like, what's wrong with it? Like you said, what's wrong with me? And he was just so disrespectful. I was like,
he's saying everything that he truly feels.
yeah.
Yeah.
He hated me. And I knew for a fact he hated me. And I was like, why be with me if you feel that way?
I know why.
Convenience. Convenience. Like, even when I was there just visiting, I did not like his energy. I just felt like if Munchie's saying, like, my friend is coming over, we're going to have girl time, and we was about to go out, too.
Yeah,
like,
yes,
why are you hanging back?
Yeah, and
Bye.
you didn't live there, right?
No.
So why you here? Go home, Roger.
Like, toodaloo. Like, and I remember telling you that. I'm just like, in that moment, I didn't feel like it was, control. Exactly. In that moment, I didn't feel like it was my place to say that. But once y'all broke up and we started unpacking some things, and I'm like, yeah, Munchie, I feel like him. Like, and I gave like that example. And then the other example, like, him going days, like just being isolated.
Yeah. I'm blaming it on his anxiety and depression. And one thing I don't like, a lot of people have anxiety and depression, but don't use those mental states as a cop-out. Like, to be disrespectful.
Go work on yourself.
Right.
That's the one. We could work on each other apart. If that's the case, if it's that bad, then you can go do what you need to do, and we could probably circle back to this.
A lot of people have anxiety and depression, but you don't see them disrespecting people.
Yeah. And my mom always say, like, you want to know how someone truly feels about you? Like, get them upset. And they will start saying things that they probably have been suppressing for a while, been biting their tongue, and it just comes out, and you like, wait, excuse me? Like,
I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But I was so over it. It was like, okay. Like that when you're over something.
You've been checked out.
I was checked out a long time ago.
That's the thing about
I'm like, go ahead, leave.
Yeah, we check out a lot earlier in the relationship.
Than
Like,
they
both
do.
of us, hearing both of us talk about it, we both were checking out way earlier than we actually left.
Exactly. And I said to myself, can you imagine living with this man? I was like, oh, hell, God was... Hey!
He was protecting you, sis. Honestly, that was God's
and I'm glad you
protection.
followed your heart and said, no, I don't want to live with you. Because imagine, those be the things I think about too. Like, you would get mad at me if you think about putting me out your house. I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the cops.
911.
What's your emergency? This man done put me out. I don't got nowhere to go. I'm gonna call the cops. I don't care.
I'm crying.
I gotta go.
You too.
You gotta go like on the curb, like, hello. Cause no, if I gotta go, you gotta go too. If I'm paying bills in this house, you trying to put me out, everybody out. Everybody, including the dog, everybody gotta go.
Everybody sitting on the curb, like, what?
But that's a lot. That's a lot to to think about back then. Like, that's a lot. During the pandemic too.
That's why Moet didn't like his ass. Sorry for cursing.
Dogs don't.
Dogs feel
They
like
don't
He
lie.
bit you. That's
They
why
be
he bit
knowing.
you. I should have followed. I should have been like, Moet
That's a
don't like
sign,
you.
yep.
It ain't gonna
That's a
work.
sign.
That's what I should have
Dogs
known.
be
I should have
knowing,
known.
They know.
They sense energy. So if Moet, and I met your dog, so if Moet didn't like nobody, yeah, they gotta go. They gotta go.
That's jokes.
Yeah.
So is there anything that never really bothered you before the relationship, but after going through it, it has now become like a trigger for you?
That's a good question.
mean, let me see.
You want to go first?
I'm thinking.
For me, like I could go. But for me, I think a trigger for me is not being able to communicate. And when you shut down,
Yo.
when, you know,
Yeah.
I can understand, like,
Yeah.
maybe you need a minute. Everybody go to their respective corners, you know, break and go cool off. But we're going to talk about this. We're not going to sweep this underneath the rug. So if you want to continue to, like, you know, beat around the bush, not speak to me, that whole communication thing for me, like, that's a trigger.
Yeah.
If we just have the smallest disagreement and we can't talk it out, like two adults, without calling it arguing, that's another thing too. You could be expressing yourself and a guy will take it as, I'm not trying to argue with you. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So that became a trigger for me.
I can piggyback off of that actually because thank you for that, because in my previous relationship, anytime I would call him out on stuff that he was doing and it bothered me, things that I told him I didn't like or whatever, anytime we'll have a disagreement, he would storm out.
You would leave?
He would leave.
Oh, yeah.
So let's
he
just
did
say,
too.
like,
Yeah.
you know, I have my own apartment, whatever, so he'll be there and, you know, we get into a disagreement. I'm calling him out on his bullshit. And instead of, you know, having a conversation with me, trying to talk it out, he would get up and leave. And that would boil my blood. Like, when I tell you that, I don't know, that triggers my abandonment issues that I got. I don't know, but that, and he knew that I didn't like that. And
You expressed that before.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
told him, and then he would just keep doing it. And I would tell him, like, listen, like, this is not going to work for me. Like, I can't operate like this. And then, you know, we wouldn't communicate. We would go, you know, sometimes days without talking, like, just stuff like that. So now, and I'm in relationships with, you know, with guys, I'm more of like, I want to address it at the moment. And I've come to, you know, learn that that's not how everybody is able to communicate.
Yeah.
But at least let me know, like, listen, I need a minute. I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to step out.
Communication.
Communicate that to me. You don't just storm out
Communication.
and then
Always
just leave.
communication.
And then now you just leaving me sitting there like, no, that's not cool. So that is a huge trigger for me. So anytime, you know, I get those type of vibes from somebody, like, it's a red flag. And, you know, I'll excuse myself from my situation because I can't. Like, I don't like that.
To add on to communication, the word of the day starts with an A. Accountability.
Okay. Which a lot of people don't have. Okay.
Like, you see how you explained when you identify what he has done, he wouldn't even, I would do the same with him. It was always, okay. And then he'll buy me things to fix it. He'll buy me things to fix it or take me out to eat because everywhere, you know, us girls love to go out to eat.
We love the food.
We love food.
Little chicken.
Right.
You know what?
Right. So you would tell him what you don't like. He'd be like, okay, taking me out to eat, but no change. He thinks he's Mr. Perfect in his behavior. But he wants me to take accountability for I'm doing the changing. If he tells me what he doesn't like, I'd be like, okay, let me fix myself for certain things. And I noticed the relationship was one-sided. I'm growing as a person, and he's the same person I met in 2017. He feels like he's perfect. No change whatsoever.
And maybe that's probably why you don't have the greatest relationship with his parents. That could be it. Accountability, everybody likes that word accountability. To them having to do it. Like, that shift blaming, instead of saying, I could have done this
and
differently.
Deflecting?
Yeah.
Love to deflect.
Oh my gosh. That's the one that not to do. That deflection, I can't.
But you did it too. I'm like, we're talking about you right now.
Exactly. And where's the accountability there?
Yeah. Oh, you did that the other day, so why didn't you say anything?
Yeah.
Why are you bringing it up now? I don't want to hear it.
And what that got to do with you, though? Like,
what does got to do with the situation?
Yeah.
I'm talking about you right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, and I don't like to, like, you know, generalize it and say it's like a guy thing, because there's men out there that will take accountability, but
Definitely.
it takes growth.
Growth, yeah.
Just like for women, we have to grow too in order to realize,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe I could have did that differently. I didn't have to yell. I could have, you know, maybe took a minute for myself to woosah and then just address how I
Right.
how I
right.
feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they probably would have heard me instead of taking it as like, you know, me coming at them and they're getting so defensive because, you know, that'd be the one too. Like, you're being so aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby, I'm from New York.
Yeah.
Get with it. Get with it.
Another one too is being emotionally unavailable. I realized
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one.
because I would explain like he would ask me how I feel. Like say if I'm feeling about something, how I feel about something. I'm feeling a way about something, and I would express that to him. He'd be like, "You'll get over it," or "Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah."
So basically dismissing you.
Dismiss my feelings for
Okay.
a lot of situations.
Wow.
Like when that whole thing when I quit the music and so forth, and he was the shoulder to cry on, that really affected me deeply. You know what he said? He's like, I finally got my girl out the music. Now she's mine. It was like a lot of selfish things.
Where you live? Because we could pull up right now. Like,
Nah,
what?
he's a weird.
Like,
Yeah,
what?
he
Oh
was
my
happy.
God.
It wasn't like a partner where he would say, you know what? Let's find other ways where you could utilize that talent that you have. Let's find other
supportive.
avenues. No, he wasn't.
It's like you praying for my
No.
downfall.
Yeah, he
low
was praying
key,
for that. He was
like-
happy.
He wanted to make you.
Yeah, this.
This.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yep. And when I expressed to him how I feel, he'd be like, okay, and very dismissive. So I shut down. I was scared to go to him.
I started to feel that way too. And they say that's a sign. When you start to feel like you're scared to bring up how you feel to your
Yep.
partner,
That was that. Yep.
that's a sign. You're not comfortable with
No.
that person. 5 years, that's a long time. So if you're starting to feel scared to go to that person because it's like, one, you're trying to keep the peace. Two, you're afraid of how they're going to receive what you're saying and how they're going to react. That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. So, yeah, I really don't like him now. Like before, it was like, oh, you know, I didn't care for him too much. I don't like him. I'm glad you're in a happier space.
Thank you, babe.
No problem. But now that you're single and have had time to heal, do you find it hard to date?
I feel like. Yes.
Okay.
And I say that
hard.
because, especially living in New York City,
Hey.
it's very hard to date. I feel like the dating pool, as everybody says, has
Poop, pee,
urine,
everything.
number 2, vomit,
Everything
It has
but
everything,
chlorine.
like in it,
everything.
And I feel like I've grown so much. Like when I got with my ex, I was 25 years old.
You're not the same
I'm
person.
not the same person I was. Like I've grown personally, professionally, and I've learned so much about myself. You know, through different avenues that I know what I want, and I feel like if a person is not able to provide that to me, I'm not really at a place where I'm willing to like grow with you.
And that's fair.
And I had to, you know, come to terms with that because I'm like, you know, when I was younger, maybe, you know, obviously I did that. But now, no. I'm grown. And the person that I want to be with, I want them to be grown. I want them to be emotionally available. I want them to be in tune with themselves. I want them to be learning and growing and healing as well. So it makes it harder because you don't have too many men out there in New York. And I'm speaking for New York City. I don't know about other states. You know, that's where I live. That's where I'm dating at. And I just haven't, you know, been dating for like, you know, 2 years now. And I'm still single, so that says a lot, you know. Like,
Sorry.
You know, so yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It is.
You just I would get dead ends. I'll date. It'd be fun in the beginning, and then it just I find something. They do something. It just dwindles out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been hard.
It's hard. It's
Okay.
really hard. Especially in the social media world that we live in. It's
Yes.
like we have to compete with what these men see on social media and TikTok and the shapes, the body shapes, your look.
Yes.
So it's like a lot of women put themselves out there in terms of their bodies and stuff. So they expect you, when they see that you go on a date and they see that you have to put in the work, they're like, nah, why? If this girl shaking her ass could I can have sex with her one night. Why do I have to put in the work? So I kind of get that type of mentality where they get where it comes from, and it's sad. It's sad.
Everyone is accessible.
Yeah,
on social
accessible,
media.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's not a real
I blame
world.
social media for it.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
agree
why
with
it's
that,
hard.
Because they feel like if I
Yeah.
settle with you,
Right.
I'm missing out on the next
Mixed
best
with
thing. And it's like,
Sometimes the grass is not green on the other side.
period. And what you see is just like a perception of what that
Perception.
reality is. So if you feel like you want to go after somebody that's easier,
And when they go after that person, they don't be happy.
no. And that's why they come back. That's why they come back.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry. it was my fault. I wasn't thinking
Yeah,
clearly. I
I'm
was
like,
going
what?
through a lot. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Sorry.
And we have to stop doing that too. And I just had this conversation. Like, I came across a video on social media, and it was this lady talking about how her ex from 3 years ago,
Yeah.
like, is blowing up her phone, trying to get back with her. And it's like,
Accessibility.
she's like, I'm not the same person I was back then. I don't even look the same. So for you to just be trying to come back over here shows that you didn't even grow.
Baby, come back.
Yeah.
With the,
And we have to, like, us as women, that's not a compliment.
it's not.
We have to start
not.
being more like, assertive, set our boundaries. Like, you had your goal with me. Thank you for, the compliments. I appreciate the kind words, but no.
The door is closed.
The door
like
is
Mimi
closed.
said.
The door is closed.
Closed.
Yes, it's closed. Like, you had your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You treated me how you treated me.
This was just
It's
season.
okay.
Bye.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Wrap it up.
And it's crazy because I feel like the way I am, I'm so just. I feel that way. I can be biased because it's me, right? But I feel like when it comes to dating, like, I'm so just genuine, and I'm like, I don't give the fluff. Like, it's like, why y'all want to play games? Like,
Y'all not tired?
make it hard.
kindness
Like,
for
come
weakness.
I'll
on.
be tired for them.
Rough out here.
Just be real.
And when I like you and when I love hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's rare sometimes to get that nowadays. And it's like, these men really don't appreciate it. And
Yeah.
it really makes it so hard for us. Like, oh.
I'm the same way. Like, if I like you, yeah, I want to
I'll do
see.
any-
Like,
yeah.
I'm like kind of locked in over here. Like, I'm liking this ride that I'm on. But if you give me a reason to get off the ride, like, it's giving roller coaster. I don't do roller coasters, but if it's giving that, then yeah,
Yeah.
cut the show. I'm done.
And especially living in a major city, there's more women than men.
Yes.
So it's 5 women to 1 man.
To one. Mm-hmm.
So
in New York
come on,
City.
these men having fun. They're like, why settle?
But let me add another thing, and this is something that we always talk about with men in New York City. I feel like everybody comes to New York or New York City for the hustle and bustle. I feel like the men are not looking to settle down. They're not. They don't value marriage and having children in wedlock. So when a woman like me or like us, when we're looking for love, we're looking for marriage, we're looking for a family unit, it's hard to find that when the men that's in our dating pool are not also looking for the same thing.
they
You know
front
what I'm
like they
saying?
do.
They don't-
So
like they
that
are.
also makes it hard with dating. Like,
It's a lot of lying.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
False
there's a lot of
pretenses.
babies being created, and no judgment to anybody that's that's doing that, but that's what the norm is. That's what is becoming a lot more acceptable versus doing it things, the other way. And so it's like, if that's what I'm looking for and the men out here are not looking for that and they don't understand or value marriage and being faithful and honest in a relationship, that makes it hard too to date.
Yeah. I agree, Bri.
Yeah.
I agree.
How about that option on like the dating apps, figuring out my dating goals?
Oh gosh.
What?
At this big age,
I ain't
sir,
no
you're
toy.
50.
And I be wanting to say, like, what are you trying to figure out? What are you on here for?
I feel like
You're
they playing games.
Yeah.
That's playing
That
games at
basically
this
means
point.
I want my cake and eat
playing
it.
games.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what it should
giving
say.
like, can you settle down? Like, you're old.
Yeah.
It's tired.
What are you trying to
Why are
figure
you
out?
here?
Hang it up.
Why are you wasting people's time?
But you on a dating app. What you trying to figure out on a dating app? Because what we came on a dating app for? To date.
And I asked one guy too because I didn't realize he had that in his profile. And I was like, what does that mean, figuring it out? Oh, I'm just trying to figure out like, if I want to get into a relationship because right now, like I'm casually dating. I said, well, according to my profile, I'm not here to casually date. It says life partner, right? So obviously, all you saw was probably just my pictures, and you was just thinking, you was just thinking like, oh, she look good, blah blah blah. I know I look good, but anyways,
half of the time they don't even read your profile. They don't read your profile.
They don't read it. They see, oh, she cute. She got a nice smile. Her skin is nice.
Yeah,
she got a nice chest, nice butt. Like she thick. That's all they see is the physical.
Reading is
And
fundamental.
Then, exactly. Then it's like when you ask them, did you read my profile? It's like, let me go back. Because I didn't see that part. And then they come back and they be like, oh, yeah, I just saw it, blah, blah, blah. Or the ones that have kids.
Oh, gosh.
And they try to blindside you. They don't put it in their profile. So when you ask, like, do you have children? I always ask. I don't care.
Oh,
yeah, you have to.
Because you could put, like, you don't have it. I'm not going to assume. So I'd be like, do you have a kid? Do you have kids? And they'd be like, yes. I'm like, okay, so why you don't have it in your profile? Oh, because I feel like you should get to know me for me. Hey,
your kids are
a part of you.
Kids are a part of you,
That's a part
sir.
of you. That's your pick me.
What? Oh, this is why, Johnny, this answers your question. This is why dating is so hard because this is the that we have to deal with.
The lies. You see how
The
we all
lies.
It's an illusion.
It is crazy. We all have similar stories.
Yes, but we're, before you moved, and we all in the New York City area. So a lot of our dating stories are similar. And then we feel like we gotta settle to some extent because it's like, damn, are we gonna get anything else? And it's like, no, you are.
You're gonna get something.
Yeah,
don't settle.
Exactly.
Do not settle.
Nope. And to be honest with you, I feel like even not only New York and other cities too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about other cities.
When I hear my friends speak, because my
Yeah.
homegirl lives in Georgia, same.
Well, baby, I wouldn't be dating nobody there. So I be
Georgia.
thinking everybody's on the other side.
Georgia is a little sus. I wouldn't include
I
that.
be thinking that you try to play both teams. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't even do it to myself
She's
in
having
Georgia.
a hard time too, and in other places. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I'm praying for sis.
Everywhere.
I don't trust
Hang in
Georgia.
there.
Tell her to look other places.
Yeah, the neighboring states. Like, expand your proximity. Like, go over 100 miles.
That's one thing. I'm sorry. Just a PSA. I would never go to Georgia to find a man.
Me either. Baby,
Because I know
me either.
y'all heard the stories about what be happening. Come on.
Oh
No.
God.
Even if I were to move there and I'm married, I'm holding my man tight.
A lot of women, from what I heard, a lot of women share men.
I don't want you looking at another man. When you talk to him, you better look at the floor and do something. I want you to get no ideas. Please.
Look, come here. You can't go. You're not going out. Where we going?
Like, no.
All right, let me get my stuff.
With your bonnet on. I'm coming with you, please.
No.
Gotta protect my man.
Oh man, I'm
Gotta
crying.
protect him by all
No,
costs.
it's scary out there. That's another topic for another day. Because what?
It's bad out here in these streets because it's a lot of that too. But like you said, another topic for another day.
Yeah.
So what are some things you think you could have done like differently?
Leave.
But that's real though.
That's a good one. That's a
Leave
freaking
early.
That
good
was on
one.
cue. Leave.
Leave early when the red flags.
Yeah.
When you see the red flags. Like, Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honestly, that's the most honest advice I
real.
can say is to leave. That's what I would have done
I
differently.
like that.
What I would have done different is not neglecting myself in terms of, because I lost myself in that relationship. I should have stayed true to who I am and stood my ground in that relationship, whether he liked it or not. I'm like, I should have stood my ground and say, that's just me. If you don't like it, the door is right there.
I like that.
That's what I would have done in that relationship.
Setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So my last two questions for you ladies, reclaiming my time. So what would you do differently in the next relationship?
Communicate. Definitely communicate.
Okay.
For me, like as I'm dating now, is more so like, you know, communicating, expressing what my needs are, and not be. I used to be scared to, you know, say what I want, or, you know, even like in dating, like you be scared like to say like I'm being intentional. I want marriage and I want children.
Yep.
Because out of fear of what other people or what that person may say.
Right.
So just being very intentional about what I want, so that it's on the table. And if you can't provide that for me, then I know not to entertain it. So I think that's something that I'm doing, like moving forward in my
love
dating,
that.
is being intentional
Just
and
being
vocalized and
blunt.
communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be blunt.
Because if you're not,
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't feel scared to say what you want. And I've learned that the hard way. So
Yeah.
I love that answer.
Yeah. And
So both of you, what is one gem you would like leave the listeners with as far as like moving on, reclaiming your time, going back, you know, getting back to you?
What I would like to leave my listeners with, when a relationship ends, like my mom said, never go back to shit. Vomit.
It's real.
When you leave that relationship, this is the first time I've ever done it, and I did it with this time, and I felt so good. I cut off all contacts with him, cut off all family members that were associated, all friends, family members, everything that were associated with him. Accessibility. He has no access to me at all. Before, in previous relationships, I would leave that window open. You have my number.
Oh, we can still
Or
be friends.
We could still be friends.
Yeah.
Nope. You're an ex for a reason. Time to move on.
Love that.
I like that.
That's what I'd like to leave my listeners with. Less contact. No accessibility to you whatsoever. He or she does not deserve to be in your space. Y'all ended for a reason. So, yeah.
I like that, Munchie.
Yeah. What I would say is it's okay for relationships not to work. Every relationship, whether, you know, it's platonic or friendly, platonic or intimate, you learn something from it. So it's going to be rough if you're experiencing like a breakup and it's hard for you and you feeling like, is it ever going to get better? Speaking from somebody who's on the other side, and my girls here, I'm pretty sure you guys can attest, it does get better. Put yourself first. Love yourself. And don't feel like you have to tolerate and deal with bullshit because you feel like there's something else out there, because it is.
Yeah.
So love yourself and learn from the situation, and you know, just keep pushing forward because it'll get better, and there's something better out there for you.
I love that, guys. Okay. Sure.
Can I also add one more thing? And also, I realize us as women, I'm sure men do it as well, but in regards to us women, when a relationship ends, we tend to blame ourselves, like what we did wrong. But what made me heal from this relationship was the lessons that I learned in the relationship. Picking up the pieces and trying to find my inner child. How was I before
This person.
this person?
Yep.
Finding
And
yourself
ever
again.
since I started doing that, that's why I said dating is fun now.
Yeah.
Because
I love
I'm
that.
doing whatever I want to do without somebody humbugging me like, where you at? What time?
I love that
Yes.
for us guys. Like,
Yeah.
one thing that I would leave like the listeners with, just like to piggyback off of what Munchie said, get back to you.
Yep.
Get back to yourself, because us as women, we tend to, like, it's easily, like, you can easily just lose yourself in a relationship, especially a long-term one. Yeah. So just get back to you. Focus on you. It's never too late to, like, set your boundaries. Even if you're in a relationship, it's never too late to go back and set those boundaries.
Yeah.
And if that person doesn't respect it because they don't like the change,
Yeah.
toodaloo.
Yeah, I agree.
So thank you guys.
Thank you,
This
God.
was so good.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Like, we finally did this.
Yes.
I'm hoping that this was some form of healing also too for you guys to, like, speak on it. It's one thing to, like, you know, go through it and we all speak about it amongst each other.
Yes.
But you could be helping somebody that's probably that was in your shoes. So I appreciate y'all coming into the vulnerable room.
Thank you, Dara, for having us.
No problem.
It's really an honor to have you.
No problem. I would love to have you guys back one of these days. Ooh. But yes, guys, so stay tuned for more episodes to come and be on the lookout for my book club that's starting on November 3rd. So yes, thank you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Come on, y'all. We know these combos ain't for the faint. Thank you for listening to the Vulnerable Room podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, head on over to Anchor or Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow at The Vulnerable Room on Instagram or visit thevulnerableroom.com for the latest tea. See you next time. Love you all and have a great week.